Hello, and I do believe we are live. Do you believe that we are live? Just going to monitor this over on another machine. If it will load.
I could potentially. Oh, cool! You got some of the video. I could potentially share some of those edited videos. From Vimeo. I don't know. I guess it won't let me do that in the YouTube links.
That's all right. So, hey, folks, you got my face on screen today. Les here, Sixus1. Yeah, I know, right?
What is that?
So
What is that?
when I go that way, that's because I'm looking off at the other monitor to see if things are still chugging along all right. So, yeah, there you go. That's a nice shot of me, aerial shot. So, Les here from Sixus1 and my buddy Brent.
Disciple 3D.
Yep, doing the weekly podcast dealio. And
we promised. We're fulfilling our promise.
Yeah, fulfilling our promise. Today's is probably going to be a little bit short because I have some professional obligations that are going to require me to jump off here and beat tracks at some point. But we are here and we're going to do this thing. So, what do you want? Well, I'd say what do you want to get started with, but I was actually sitting here cycling through some of these images from when we went up Lakiji Rock some months ago. So, there you go.
My mom popped in. I had to say hi.
There we go. So yeah, it's funny. So here's these shots of Brent and I together. The one and only time we've actually ever been physically in the same place, which is kind of funny considering how long we've known each other. But Brent came out to my house here in Eastern Kentucky some months ago, and on his last day here, we went up to this place that I just love called Lakiji Rock. Really, really cool point with a fun climb getting up to it. That's always a blast. I don't know if we have any shots in here or not of the actual climb up to it.
I guess I could send you links on, and you could bring up your other in your browser. I've got stuff on Skype for sure. Let me dig that out real quick.
Well, it's not a big deal. Maybe we'll share that some other time. But I love this. So Brent is an indie filmmaker, producer, director, and photographer, and he brought with him his a couple of his drones that he uses for getting just some of the sweetest aerial footage. I mean, those things are such game changers in filming. And so we went up to Lakiji, and the rock faces you see there, they actually continue way on down from there. It's about 400 feet up, and it's a great peak. And we're talking like 25, 30 mile visibility from up there, looking out over Cave Run Lake and then off into Daniel Boone National Forest here in Appalachia. It's an A, not an A. It's not Appalachia, it's Appalachia. Thank you. But so we were up on Lakiji and took the drones up, and we're flying these things out. There we are, being Nimrods together, and more Nimrod. Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm gonna flip back over to my folder with these and make sure I don't have anything stupid in here. So along with along with all these shots, us just being Nimrods again. So one of the things that we're going to do with this is actually do a 3D reproduction of Lakiji, since we're able to take the drones and fly around it. Probably not the entire thing, but just like a nice vista from around, from where you see here, around, if you can follow my mouse, kind of around this probably 270 degree semicircle around it. We already put together a set of HDRs from this, which are up at Renderosity. And that's why I have Daz Studio open right now, because normally in Daz Studio we talk about characters and character setups and rigging and building, all that kind of stuff. But another really important thing inside Daz Studio is lighting and rendering, of course. And HDRs are just they're just game changers. They're beautiful things to use for that. And so we put together a set of HDRs from the photography taken that morning up at Lakiji. And so I'm going to let this kind of come in here for a second. And let me just zoom out. And here I'm just kind of throwing some of my dev presets in here for the moment. I had some fun with this where I took the HDRs and then did some work with them after the fact, adding like fog and things in there, and just really handy stuff. Like rather like there you can see on around that corner, and just really kind of nifty. So I do think that it's probably going to be kind of bogged down a little bit trying to have HDRs showing in real time on here while I am screencasting.
Got to get that new video card, Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah, Moneybags. Yeah, my ass. I wish. You know what kind of day I've had. Don't even start with me. Don't you even. But let me throw just a dev G8 female out in here so you can see a figure in there. Yeah, hopefully this kind of thing will display much better, much more clearly once I have a new machine, which is going to happen. It's just a matter of, it's not an if, it's just a matter of when. It's probably not too far off. So yeah, there we go. Just throw the untextured G8 female out in there. That allows the camera to kind of focus in on the figure, and then you can get a much better view and use of those views. So, and that's all being illuminated by the the results of that photography, which is pretty darn cool. That's a really good angle there. So one thing that is pretty common with HDRs, and is really hard to get rid of no matter how much editing you do with them in Photoshop, is there's almost always a polar pinch at the very top and very bottom.
Have you ever used the offset, the X offset, to get rid of that, or
Yep,
at least get it out of your screen?
That's actually right where I was headed to.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been hanging out with you then, I guess.
Yeah. So if you go into your render settings in Dev Studio, and you have to have the environment set to dome and scene, and then the dome mode to finite sphere with ground. And with that enabled, and then ground position mode set to manual, then you can move these. So if we change the origin, the Z origin to like 30, that should move that pole. Well, actually, it's going to need to be more than that. Let's change that to like 300. These numbers, by the way, that I'm plugging in here are actually relative to the scale factors on here, and those scale factors are really kind of key to getting HDRs to set up in a scene. So there's a lot of kind of playing around you have to do with your HDR images. I think last week I might have mentioned HDRs from like HDR Haven. There's HDR Haven and there's like CG Axis, even though they tend to be pretty consistent at both places, there's still a fair amount of tweaking that I still find I end up having to do, and then I save my settings out for it. But it's not like I can just replace the image in settings and all that. It's like, yeah, it's not as simple as that. So like right here, I'm messing around with the dome scale multiplier just to bring stuff in and tighten it in a little bit. So that's actually a pretty darn good setting right there.
Just out of curiosity, have you seen that toolkit for HDRs that was recently released at DAZ?
No.
It's pretty cool. I mean, these are done in such a way that like the foot shadow looks pretty good. But sometimes you get these, even the expensive commercial ones, and it'll look like the character's floating in the air, and you can never seem to put it on the feet on the actual surface. Mm-hmm. This provides sort of like a plane that will kind of assume that and throw the reflections and shadow back up. It's pretty cool. You can kind of like box in like rough geometry, like a particular particular like piece of furniture or whatnot and have those reflections thrown back, it actually works really good. I was kind of impressed with.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Um, yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that you can do just with the default HDR dome in there. Like you could turn up your shadow intensity on the ground here. So if I set that to like a 1.5, then that's gonna really amplify those shadows going to the ground there. If I have the ground position mode set to manual, then we can do a lot with tweaking that. Where she was kind of floating right there. If I just a few little clicks brings that up closer to her feet. Let's move this. Let's go like 50 on X. Maybe more than that. Let's go 200 on X. That way we get the pinch out of the shot. So that's pretty decent, especially once you have, like, if you use a decent camera. And this is probably something that'd be a nifty little thing to touch on here. If you use some decent camera settings with depth of field, then this really comes alive. I rarely do I render anything anymore that does not use extensive depth of field on it. So, like, if we go texture shaded, let's just say we wanted something. Kind of a portrait sort of view, and right about there, I'll come up here to my my camera, and I'll hit that little button right there to create a new camera, and then I'm going to copy my active view. And as soon as it does that, you're going to see these crosshairs show up. That's because there's now a camera in the exact same place as the preview view camera. So now if I wheel off of that with my preview view, you'll see that camera left where we were. And if I go in here, you can see that. Now, I have a habit of, there's certain things I change as soon as I throw a camera in here, is I'll turn that headlamp mode to off, because if you don't, then the camera also has a light that it projects, and it just completely throws off the lighting you're seeing. So, and then I'll come over to camera and hit depth of field, and I'm going to change the frame length on this to, let's say 35 for like a 35mm camera. And then let's pull my focus distance. I might need to rezoom the camera since that focal length is going to mess with some stuff a little bit. So now, I got my focus distance right there, and let's set my f-stop to about 40, just so I've got some range. And everything you see between these two planes right here is the is what's in focus. So if I come back over here to view through the camera now, and I turn on iRay, give that a second, you'll see now that HDR really, it's got that depth of field, so it looks very believable back there. But it's got the nice focal blur and all that stuff going on. Something else you can do with these that I think is really handy is being able to go into the dome and spin that stuff around. So like if we go to dome rotation in our render settings, there you go. You got a nice portrait sort of setting. So I love that stuff because it's just like, here's this great great lighting setup that just hits so fast. It's so fast.
It really kicks butt for image sequences if you're doing a comic or whatnot. I mean, like a 3D comic or just some sort of sequential storytelling with images, because it renders, once you get that camera set up, you can just like move them a little bit, apply a new pose, boom, hit render. It's very, very quick.
I'm going to rifle through real quick and look at my my other settings here.
From a technical standpoint, I'll mention that these were created with the first camera to support 360, especially like for direct upload to Facebook. It's called the Ricoh Theta S, and that was the camera to get for making these. I mean, if you weren't going to go to the trouble of having a reflector and a swivel head and an actual SDR camera and do it entirely manually, which is a ton of work, this was the go-to camera, and I've kind of bought it with this in mind. But there is now a new camera out called the I believe it's the Insta 360, and I'm definitely looking to upgrade because these are really fun to make. Anytime you go somewhere beautiful or catch some sort of unique light, you can whip that thing out and let me whip this out, and have a new thing to play with in that studio.
That's true. That's true. Now, like what I've got going on here, this is now a much better way to show these off. Is like with each one of these settings, I took the final HDR, the clear HDR image file, and took that into Photoshop, and of course you can see really clearly what everything is. So I just pulled Photoshop tricks in there between color grading and then painting in fog and stuff into it, and it's like right there. It's just that was actually the daytime stuff, and it works really well for like dusk if you color grade it right, which is not difficult. You know, there's so many different tools and ways for that, and you know, so you can just Google Photoshop color grade, and you're going to get all kinds of cool ideas on how to do that. So, yeah, you know, it's very versatile, and I use that with you know, I do that with all kinds of HDRs and do that in renders all the time. It's so handy. So yeah, I really like that one, Wakiji Evening Red Fog. That one is just perfect for like some nice horror shots. You know, and then you throw like some different lights and stuff in there, and really has some fun with it.
Yeah, if you had one of your monsters in there with like glowing eyes or something, that'd be promo ready right there.
Yeah, pretty much. Really would be, really would be. See, now you got me thinking, so I'm just gonna like pop over here and load something up.
That's what I was trying to do, my man. I'm glad that my telepathy is working.
Just cause. So let me go piling through the bazillion things I have sitting here that would be kind of fun. I want to pull out something that's you know, that's out there in the world to do its thing. Let's see. Man, I can never quite. It's not very often I actually get a chance to play with my own toys, so that's kind of cool for this. I want something interesting. The Horned Devil Queen's kind of neat. She's one that's up at Renderosity, and since it's Halloween.
I don't know if you have anything with fur that would be not too heavy. Because I really love how that looks in the dark.
I don't want to try to mess with fur on a live stream because it's just a headache to fight with my video card. So I'm gonna put the kibosh on that one for now. But here, let's throw this old girl in here because she could use a look-see. I hear my doggies trotting around. Hey guys. If I had a quicker feedback on my camera, I'd swing the camera around and show you guys the dogs. So there's that. Let's do clothing. Let's put some clothing on her because, you know, nobody wants their Horned Devil Queen to be naked. Actually, they probably do. Avert your eyes, you pervs. So there's that and that. And then and I'm just going to be a bit of a smartass here with the way I pose this. Pull some quick little tricks with power pose where I use that to select body parts. Like right now I'm selecting the feet, which are off camera, but I can select them and then pin them. And then from there, if I grab the hip, I can come over and should be able to move that down like that. And the legs would actually be moving with this and like bending and all that kind of grooviness. And then just going to swing wild here, posing this. Let's do hidden line so I can kind of see a little more what I got. And let's pull that around. Maybe bring the eyes up like that. I actually like working in this hidden line wireframe from time to time. It's pretty cool. So that. And then let's go. Let's grab head, and then we're going to go down to mouth and lips. Let's pull that back. And come back here. There we go. Like I said, I'm kind of swinging wild here right now, so I'm gonna throw her arm up in here just so it really plays to the depth of field, because I dig that. And then let's right click and select the hair. And what do we got here? Let's go blown to the right. And let's kick on eye rate and see what we get. And waiting. Oh, yes.
Waiting.
I really feel at least a 2070, RTX 2070 is in my near future, if not a 2080 Ti.
I'm going to get whatever you get, so do your research.
Now, I'm really looking hard at a 2080 Ti. So that's a little preview of it. So now I'm going to add some lighting in. And the way I'm going to do that is just from this camera view, I'm going to come up here, click on light, apply active viewport transform, and there we see that light. And then as soon as that comes in, I'm going to go into my view here, and you can view through a light as if it were a camera. So I'll go to the spotlight like that, and we'll pull that back, and then just navigate with it just like I would a camera. And let's do something, let's be all super dramatic with it. I think we should put this figure on sale. We should put this kit on sale over at Rendo sometime soon. It'd be a good one for Halloween.
The female demon?
It's the Horned Devil Queen.
We can make that happen.
I think we should do that. So
why don't I do that? Why don't I do that right now?
You should do that. You should just put that on sale right now, and just for the sake of seeing what happens. So I'm going to come into the settings on this light, on the spotlight under photometrics, and for some reason the photometrics on this come in at this ridiculously low level, like it has virtually no effect in the scene by default. And so the first thing I will do is add like 2 zeros into that. So now if I turn on iRay and let that cook for a second, it should actually have some effect. All right, come on. Oh yes. For folks who don't know, while this is cooking, I'm going to talk about this for a second. I do have a Patreon, a Sixus1 Patreon. I've done very little with it because I just get so busy and all that kind of stuff. But there's some stuff we're talking about maybe rolling out there. I've got a number of different things that, I don't know, there's actually a lot of things that I could do with that I think folks would really be into. I don't know. Go check it out. You know, it's like maybe we'll throw a link up to it or something like that. I don't know. But
so Horned Devil Queen is now on sale and will be on sale for 30% off at renderosity.com until the stream starts next Friday.
Sweet. I like that. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we're gonna make a business policy right here. Like each week, we'll just like pick an item or two, like a Sixus1 item, maybe a D3D item, because it's like D3D is Brent's thing, and I help him with a lot of stuff with that, and then he helps me with stuff for Sixus1 that I don't have time to do, and we're kind of partners in each other's respective ventures that way. So maybe it's like each week we can just like say, this week this is on sale. This is the podcast sale special. So that's actually a good idea. I like that.
I'm full of them.
I really like that idea.
Hey, not for nothing, but yo, this month being Halloween, There's some really deep discount Prime sales coming up. I won't say specifically what, but it does run in themes. So if you see one thing, like for example, a particular product, anything similar to that is likely to come up right after it. They go for 3 days at a time at deep discounts, like 70% off. So keep your eyes peeled.
Pretty nifty. Pretty nifty. Yeah, something. It's funny. Like I used to have folks, around me while I was working. I've had people talk about how, like, for myself, for my own stuff, I like it when, like, a creature like this has a bit of wetness to it. But some people are like, "Oh, things are too shiny," so I stopped doing that. But I would like for this to have a little more sheen to it in here. It's just some kind of dampness. So I'm gonna sit here and mess around with the materials for a minute and see what we can do with that. So let's see. I want to change that to 0.65, and because that should actually reverse out where that scattering is going. Let's see. Okay, now let's look at. Let's see. Here's my roughness. I bet if I turn up the reflectivity across those, and here in the surfaces, I've just clicked on skin, so I'm working with all those. I do have roughness maps in there, though, that are going to kind of keep all that muted. So if I want to add some more sheen, I'm going to go into that dual lobe specular. There we go. Yes, sir. That's where I wanted to be with that. So, and then if we want to tamp some of that down or have those hot spots kind of splay out a little bit, we can crank up the roughness on them. Actually, I liked it better down there as tight little hot spots. Oop. Oh, and Brent, just so you know, if you want to send me any messages while we're on here, do it through Facebook, because that way I'll see it over in the other machine.
Roger that, Kemosabe.
And it won't interrupt the flow of what we got going on here.
Okay, did you got the message on that one or no?
I saw it pop up, but then I killed it immediately. So just toss it to me over there. Just we can pass notes that way.
Got you.
So.
I was just sharing the amazing Extreme 3D gallery for Israfel. Thought you could maybe peruse that later on so folks could see how awesome some of those turned out, since they generally come out after the sales and all that. It's just to kind of connect people that might have missed it.
Gotcha.
And there's some really swank images created. They're just fun to look at. I don't know if folks follow those guys, but they have a really good fan page.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah. Let's see, which one of these templates was for the eye wetness stuff? There we go.
I asked Reggie in the chat if how those tutorials are coming, so I'm getting a certain kind of feeling because he kind of ignored the question. Maybe he hadn't been doing his homework.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
It's like, Reggie, to become great, you have to actually watch them and do the exercises. It's the way they're designed.
Get on it, man. Yep. As my boy Jocko would say, get after it.
I'm the world's worst for buying these awesome tutorials and never making the time, especially with videography and stuff, to sit down and go through some of these advanced After Effects techniques. But the difference is those take 4 hours to go through. Our stuff is really to the point. Really to the point. Actually, that's when we were doing market research and we looked at other tutorials out there. There aren't that many. Our big critique was when people would take you down a broken path and then say, "Oh, and by the way, that's why you shouldn't have done it this way. We're going to go back." We don't do any of that. It's streamlined, okay? Streamlined.
Yeah.
You want to be able to make Skull Mountain inside DAZ Studio? Here's how you do it. You want to be able to make a bridge inside a DAZ Studio using only primitives, no ZBrush, no nothing? Here's how you do it.
Very strange. I was looking over at the other machine to see if I could get anything through there. For some reason, Facebook did not want to come up, and Messenger did not want to come up on that machine.
Odd.
Yeah, and now it's back. Really weird. Yeah, we get some gremlins in the works out here. Really kind of funky. So, anyway, that was like quick little use of the Lakiji HDRs and all that kind of stuff, and then
Hypothetically speaking, if we go forward and make like a really like a major kit out of that, what kind of stuff could we expect beyond the HDR?
What you would put me on the spot with that. I really hadn't planned that kit out just yet, but it's something that I want to do because I know it'd be fun to do. If I pop back,
I'll
over
tell you
here,
what I'm thinking. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Basically, like a plateau in the sky with like a kind of a framework of trees built around it, so that when you load it into scene, you know, everything but the top of it is essentially below the plane. So you're like sky high, but you have all this like, if you were to pull back, you could kind of see the shape of that rock. Because I mean, it's pretty iconic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've got some ideas on ways to use the photos to basically sculpt out what is there and get it pretty accurate. So it's not like your normal kind of urban scene or you know something where you've got hard edges, you know, like buildings and stuff like that, where you can actually take measurements and pull like some photogrammetry stuff and get that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of eyeballing, but you could. Well, I don't know. You don't have photogrammetry, but you do have photos from all angles, thanks to the work you did.
That's what I was saying is like I'm pretty sure that I can like basically take a human figure as a point of reference and compare that to us there, and then like basically I'll end up lining up geometry in ZBrush.
Spotlight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be
yeah, and you know you can learn all about you can learn all about Spotlight in ZBrush in Series 1 of the S1M tutorials, available now on Renderosity.com.
Yeah. So yeah.
Pimp my marketplace. Go ahead, I dare you.
I'd be lining up Spotlight to that, and working with that, so that, you know, basically I'd build out what kind of looks right from one angle, and I'd switch over and find another photograph and line it up. And yeah, there's definitely a process to that, and you know, maybe it's something, I don't know, it might be kind of neat to just do that and try to document some of it as it's being done, because you know, I think it'd be kind of neat. And then with all the photos that we have, you know, like right here, I think, does it move on around? Yeah, right here. The way those move around, see, we can line those up from all these different angles, and I'm pretty sure that I could actually build that out quite accurately. And then once the overall shapes are built and sculpted in and all that, then we can go in and, you know, just add mesh resolution, set up UVs, and then start projecting in texture into that model from the photos, which there are plenty of. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be really cool. So yeah, it's funny actually, where you flew the drone around this side a little bit. I know there's a much easier way to get up on Lakiji than
we went whatever that way is. We went the opposite way.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I like to go. I like going up the root system. So
the words belly crawl come to mind.
yeah. There's you know, for I'm sure most anybody who watches this and hears us talk about it and see this, you know, it's like we'll probably have never been there. So I wish we had some photos of it to show. Maybe we'll pull out like some Vimeo or something with that. But so like we're out in here. This is the part that overlooks, you know, like drops way on down. Like it goes way, like this tree right here is enormous. It's so great. This tree is just ridiculously huge. And like this tree, the top of this tree is up, as large as this tree is, the top of this tree is below where we were standing here. And that tree runs like the bottom of that tree is somewhere down here, like way on down here. And this rock runs down right in front of it. It just keeps on going. It's enormous. And the way that we came up is actually back over here. I'm going to pull up the snippety tool and just grab this like this. That way I can kind of, this not work? Here, let's do that. There we go. So now, so like this tree runs way on down here. This rock runs way on out here. And then the place that we came up through is somewhere back here. Okay? And it's really far up. And there's a root system that runs right down here. Goes way, way on down here. And the rock here kind of follows this sort of topography. So there's like two big ancient boulders here that comprise this big section of the rock, and they come together, and there's this dense root that runs right up between those, and you hold on to that and kind of grab these different little tiny footholds and shimmy your way up, you know, probably from the trail you take to get to that point. You're probably going to climb, I don't know, man, I'd say it's probably, I mean, it's not a huge climb. It's probably about anywhere between 60 to 100 foot climb. I'm not sure. I'm never a good judge of that. I know it's at least 60, 70 feet. It may be higher than that. But that's still a pretty decent climb when you're just holding on to roots, going straight up, and you've just got these tiny little footholds. You know, and it's not like real carved footholds. It's not like anybody, you know, cut steps in or anything. It's like it's pretty neat. But my understanding is if you follow the base of that rock on around through here, somewhere over in this area is a path that goes up and is like walkable. I've actually never taken the time to go around there and find the walkable path, because as soon as I get there, I just see the root system. I'm like, oh, I'm going up. But yeah, that's the way that we went. We went up that, and you come out over in here, and you'll follow this little tiny trail, which has got some real drop-offs on it, and then that spits you out right around here.
Hey, and if you get thirsty, there's sure to be a bottle of Jack Daniels laying around, or some used condoms.
Yes,
you have to need some of those up there.
Yeah, there's plenty of jerks who leave the place trashed, and of course there's the graffiti and crap that's all over it that irritates me. But it's still a fun climb. It's a cool place to go and hang out and all that kind of stuff.
We could do a version with and without graffiti.
Yeah. I would like to. When I build it out, like I'll go through and do it once with all the graffiti on it, because that'll just stamp right in, and I'll try to go through and see if I can't digitally clean that up and be like, this is what it should look like, people. So, yeah, I really want to do that project. I hadn't thought about it in a while, but I want to do that project just because that is such a big location for tourism here in this town, and I'd love to do that just to I don't know, kind of put feeler.
I can imagine a summer and fall setting.
Yeah, and I think that there's folks in the town and different things like with city council and stuff like that who would probably get a kick out of seeing it and maybe have some ideas for things they could use it for.
That might even turn into some more art classes for you, my man.
Quite possibly. I mean, that's, you know, folks who maybe are new to listening to this stuff or following my spiel. Here in Rowan County, yes, it is Rowan, not Rowan, Rowan. Rowan County, Kentucky, they have an art council. Of course, we have Morehead State University is here, which used to be known as kind of an art school. Now it's not, and that aggravates me to no end. Though I didn't go there for art, I actually went there on a double major of literature and music. And I only went 1 year because
I thought your double major was brisket and barbecue.
You know what? I could double major in brisket and barbecue. Absolutely. In fact, I may, when I get off here, I may go audit a class in that for about an hour.
In honor of my visit to Morehead, you can go to that place downtown that we went to because they had
Bluegrass Barbecue.
To me, that kind of edged the other one out, if I'm being completely honest.
But yeah, well, and good lord, man, Bluegrass Barbecue, man. Anybody, if you happen to travel through Moorhead, Kentucky, stop in at Bluegrass Barbecue on East Main Street. They have some of the best beef brisket you're ever going to put in your mouth. And the thing is, it's $4 a pound. You get a pound of that for $4. You get that and like two healthy portion sides and two drinks for like $9 and change. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Actually, no. The beef brisket is $5 a pound. The pulled pork is $4 a pound. But it's like, so yeah, 9 and change for a 2-person pulled pork platter, and 10 and some change for the same thing with beef brisket, and it is good. Actually, the chef there, and I don't use that term lightly because I actually dig food stuff quite a bit. And the chef at the place was actually a French dude who used to have a place up on the Ohio River somewhere near Ashland and Huntington, West Virginia. But he had a place up there that was actually featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives once. I thought that was kind of neat. A long story how he ended up here in Moorhead, but yeah, we got him, and this guy is here. His restaurant is awesome, and the prices are great. And so yeah, dude, if you're listening, and the owner of the place, guy named Steve Williams, Steve, if you happen to ever listen to any of my podcasts, there you go. You're welcome. I will take compensation for that in free brisket. But so anyway, God, that's way on a tangent there. Yeah, I kind of dig this weird little town that I live in now. So I was gone from here for like 25 years, and it's kind of a neat little place. Super laid back, pretty cool. So anywho, God, what else do I want to talk about? Like I said, today I wasn't going to go on for too long today because I have some things that I need to take care of.
Before we move off of 3D, can we pop over to the X3D art link that I sent you and check out some really cool renders?
Let me hit that in Skype.
Facebook.
Crap. Actually, you sent it on Skype.
I did not. I sent it again on Facebook when you told me to.
No.
So you have it. I'm looking right at it.
I just don't want it to open a browser over here.
Huh?
I don't want that.
You want me to send it to you? I'm confused. What do you want me to send it to you on?
Send me the link on Skype. Yeah.
Okay, I did that also.
Oh, okay.
That's
cool.
the link.
Well, that's what I thought I was looking at there. Okay, yeah. We got our wires crossed for a second. So, this is good stuff. Yeah, I've actually looked at a lot of these already, and
I typically try to comment. I mean, because it's such thankless work. If you don't, thank them, they're doing amazing stuff for us. So I love to when I get that notice in Facebook.
So, that's nice.
That's nasty, right? I love how the hair works out on that one and the shirt.
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
Spider's a nice touch.
The Extreme 3D folks have really put the Horror Hostess kit to good use in multiple image sets.
I was actually commenting that I see what you did there. You used the monsters, the Monster's Bride dress, the Horror Hostess dress, elements from the Horror Hostess, the heart. They kind of keep carrying it all forward in the next render, so it's pretty
cool.
awesome.
That's really cool. It's a good job.
Being it's supposed to be a demon, right? Like, that's pretty awesome. Which has got me super chuffed to see what they're going to do. I like that one. You recognize the dress, right?
That's using the Bride of Frankenstein dress that I did. That's over in Daz's Platinum Club. That's cool. Yeah, this is really cool. I love what these guys are doing with this stuff.
I like seeing people incorporate that glow. It's such like a kind of a bonus afterthought with the kit, but it's nice to see somebody employ. I really love how those braids worked on this one.
Yeah, that struck me right there. The braids flowing into that and everything. That's really nifty. And folks, if you're like users of Sixus1 or D3D stuff, or you're just into this or whatever, just somehow associated with us through this crazy little business. And you've got artwork and stuff, that you want to share with us, send it to us. We'll take a look at it. Maybe at some point, if we we'll pick out a few things and highlight them or whatever.
You know, that might be a nice thing to do weekly is to review our promo renders that are supplied to us because we get those like almost every week now.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of the how epic some of our releases have been here lately.
I really dig this. Really dig this. I love the composition of it. That's just solid.
Let me look at my. Let's see here. I'm looking back through time on my Facebook notifications to see if I can find the Simpatico one because they recently released a one for the same kit. Be interesting to compare because there were some killer ones in that one too.
They put it together with my Mama Legba kit.
I knew you would like that. I knew you would like that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It looks like I was back through it. I think of everything in here, this one is definitely my favorite. It doesn't show off the teeth and stuff, but there's just a mood to it and a feel to it that like I totally. If you're not familiar with it, there's a kit that I have for my baby, my Genesis 8 baby, not the babies that Daz eventually released a year after I did mine. There's
no, we don't want those less. No, just kidding.
No, I'm not. I can't fault them.
It's all good. Hey, it worked out really good for you, man.
Yeah, it did. That baby, really that baby still people still use the baby, and but I totally there was a little demon. For the baby called Ignix that I'd love to see added into this scene. I would love to see like Ignix looking up over the rim of this deal right here. Like I'm gonna pop over here and see if I can pull him straight up. I bet I can. Yep, there he is, Ignix the Imp.
I'll give that a second to load. Oh yeah, I never played with that one, but I did see that. I'm trying to find.
And this was one that got some really that render was from Camilla Darkenborg. Darkenborg. I can never. I always screw up her last name, and I apologize for that. But yeah, that's one of my favorite renders I think has ever been done with any of my stuff. I love that little guy.
We should definitely. This would be a nice little feature. We should definitely go through whether we have anything releasing or not. Because have you noticed how stinking epic those the amount of stuff put out by Simpatico is on a weekly basis? It is insane.
They turn out a lot of renders. Yeah, I think a couple of these are from some Simpatico folks.
Yeah, I see a bunch of renders of their stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how to find the actual gallery of it. Give me a second here. I might have shared it to my D3D page or. Good Kung Fu Master renders there. Our old buddy, the Kung Fu Master. Let's see here. So I got to go to albums, I guess, to find that. Sorry, just kind of talking myself through it here.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this in your chat and Skype. Here we go. This is just the Simpatico album for that same product. There's some pretty epic renders in there too.
Okay.
Yeah, that little guy reminds me of something. I don't know if it's a video game or cartoon character, but like there's a callback in my mind.
Heavily influenced by some of my favorite movies from the 80s, like with the Ghoulies. There was the Ghoulies and good grief, House. I think it was the House movies. Had some little guys like that, and then there was some stuff from like Full Moon Productions. I always loved those tiny little creatures, you know. Oh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, I dig that. Oh, that one's great. That one's great. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go through here and just gush all over these people.
Yeah, that one's awesome. Ooh.
Nice callback to the Horror Hostess release with the heart there. I always love that when they do that. Nice.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Ooh, I really like the choice of scene with that. Like it.
Yeah, the colors.
Yeah, that's really different. That's cool. That's super cool.
It's kind of a powerful looking one. Elf something.
Somebody trying to pull some Evil Dead business here.
I'll swallow your soul.
Yep, yep. Oh, speaking of Evil Dead. Oh my God, that's I just got derailed, man. That one's great. I've actually seen that one before and left a little love on it, but they did some really cool stuff with it in post too. That just adds something to it. That's nice.
I'm guessing that's a multi-render where they took the arms and applied the glow to them.
It looks to me like they've just taken a copy of their render and popped it in other layers in Photoshop and moved them over and played with the opacity a little bit. Like, it would be a really simple thing to do, but it's damned effective.
Wow.
Really like it. Really like that a lot.
I don't know how many people they got working for them, but God, I can't believe the amount of renders, really post-work renders that they put out in a week. It's pretty crazy.
that thing right there is, I really like that.
Oh well, we got to share this one. This really showcases some of your work. This would be our
I love this comment over here. That little guy is just cracking me up.
Hilarious, right?
Yeah.
I just sent you another link to another one featuring Sifu. Those turned out really killer.
Let's see.
I could seriously spend some time on their site going through all these renders.
Wow, that's really nice.
And there's going to be
I do wish they wouldn't do that. And Simpatico folks, if you're listening, the big logo emblazoned on these great images, I'm not a fan of that. Something subtle in a corner would be great.
That's a big subject. So and I'm not calling anybody out in particular, and it's mostly not the folks over there, but I have encountered people before that have wanted to have asked to get our stuff, to do promo renders for us, and I've done a trial basis with a couple folks, and I found that they practically want it to sound like they built everything. They're really big about putting their logo right all over it, and then real particular about how you share it, and got to tag them, etc., etc. The thing about Simpatico is if you go there to look at promos, you kind of know the team, and I don't know. I sort of feel like I like you, like the top level of the gallery, you could just label the artist and then individually label the artist on the image. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like to me as an artist,
that's poster worthy minus the logo,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, and when I do renders for myself, when I do still art that uses 3D rendering and all that to create art. I mean, I sign it. I actually, sign it on my Cintiq. I'll sign it down the corner just as if I had drawn or painted it. And I think that's fine. And I think people have their little stamps or their signatures, things they put on stuff. But it's like when folks they go through the effort to compile this stuff together and make a really beautiful piece of artwork with it, and then they slap this big logo in it, and I'm just like, man, stop it. It's like put this down here.
I mean, I guess there are still people out there that'll go copy somebody's render and then go post it as their own.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah, and that sucks. That sucks. It sucks that there are jerks out there who pull that crap and then kind of bring a level of ruin to everything for everybody else and make people feel like they need to slap a big logo on things like that. But,
okay, one more link. All
right, one more.
Then we can move on.
All right. Did you send it?
I did. It's the last link you got.
Okay.
Should be.
Let's see what we got going on here. Oh yeah, these are great. These are great. Let's see this right here. This is appropriate. This is perfect. Talking, that last little subject there, talking about the logo on things. This is correct. I like that. So this is a little large, but it's a good render. Good render.
Cool.
That's
just for being out of the box. Yeah, that's a good example of the logo destroying the composition.
It definitely stomps on it, and it's just like man, it's like you guys are doing some cool artwork here. Can we just move that down here, please? I do want to get a like on that though, just because Is there? That one's not too bad. I like the render. I like the tone of it and everything, and the that roughness. It's got kind of a grindhouse film sort of feel.
Ah, that's a good one.
I like that. I like that.
You did see that touchable add-on pack, right? That Seed Render put out.
Was it like textures for
Yeah,
the
it's
suit?
colors. It's like a butt ton of
Wow,
colors.
that's
If
cool.
you just go to Render Rusty and search for touchable, you'll find all of those. I mean, there so many hairs. It's like it's amazing. But
Hmm.
yeah, it adds a ton of add-ons to that.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that
You know what
render.
I love about this product is that there was not one out there just like that. That classical Chow Brothers Kung Fu Master, Pulp Fiction Kung Fu Master type white hermit hair,
Yeah,
and so it's completely filled. I
yeah.
will be right there. I'll be
Mhm.
right back, Les. I'm just gonna step away for a second
Well,
while
hey,
you
man,
finish up.
it's 3 o'clock. I actually need to wrap this up, so I
Uh,
can get on
all right.
to some business stuff.
I
So,
wanted to talk about Rambo. Like, let's take 5 minutes to talk about Rambo.
well, let's put a pin in it. We will post mortem that movie next time we're on, because I actually do need to get going. But thanks, folks, for watching and hanging out with us. Sorry to cut it a little bit short this week. Sometimes business just calls, and it is what it is. So, but stick around, check out our stuff, watch some videos. Come, I don't know, buy some stuff on Renderosity, buy some of my stuff at Baz.
We're gonna try to start on time next Friday.
Yeah. We'll try to be on time and probably run for a little bit longer next week. So, till next week, folks. We'll see you.
Peace out.